Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian talk, no Trudeau talk, no the other T talk. We don't talk about the headlines here because every headline right now is not making you very happy. But I'm on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I have topics and guests to that end. If you missed my fabulous second interview with Rich Little, who came to celebrate my 13 years, and they gave me 2 tickets to see him live at the Laugh Factory. And I brought my favorite Wednesday co-host, Dr. Tiffanie Tate, to go with me. And we had a blast, and you'll hear more about that later. But let me tell you about the beautiful inside and out co-host I have here today. You'll know it's Wednesday because Dr. Tiffanie Tate is here, and she's a U.S. Navy veteran, a published author, a retired OBGyn from Compton, California. She's a playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, and more. She's a published author of many books now, lots of beautiful children's books, my favorite called Bad Touching, and her newest, Money Matters. She's also running for Congress, so I'm not the only multi-hyphenate on the show. Please welcome to my studio back, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Always a pleasure to be here. I look forward to Wednesdays because I get to spend it with you.
Yay! Let's go ahead and have breakfast, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So let's start with that. Top of the bun, things we're grateful for outside of ourselves. Bottom of the bun, things that we are grateful for inside ourselves, what we like about ourselves. So I'll start. I am grateful that I made it to Canada. Oh, Canada. It's my birth country. But now, in this heat, I know why I left Canada. But y'all know I got grounded. I wasn't allowed to fly when I was supposed to come last week because of 2 blood clots, which fit right into the topic. I think you pick your topics for me, not you these days. But anyways, the topic's disappointment. But I made it here in time. My mother's service is on Saturday, and I'm pulling that together now best that I can. And I'm grateful that I got here late last night. And so I get to, this is obviously not my studio. This is my little brother's studio in his house. And I'm grateful that I get to broadcast from here for the next month. There you go. Long gratitude. Go.
Well, oddly enough, like you said, I am running for Congress for the 41st District, and I'm running here in California in the Inland Empire. And I was talking to one of my best friends who is on my campaign team, and she lives on the East Coast in Virginia. And she was in her Bible study group, and she was saying something that she was grateful for, practicing her gratitude. And someone in her group was like, I've heard of Dr. Tiffanie Tate. And she was like, the one in California? And she's like, yes. And she actually snapshotted my Instagram and showed her. So that was confirmation that I am doing the right thing, fulfilling my calling, because took the snapshot and sent it to her. And she called me and was like, Tiffanie, you are making headway in this group all the way out here. So I actually had chills and she had chills and we had like a yay me moment. Because my
Aww.
message is resonating because my hope and happiness and fulfillment. So I was like, yay.
Yay. We'll give the show a little credit too for highlighting you. So that's wonderful. That when I had a flight attendant ask for a photo with me from recognition too. And there's nothing better when you're remembered for good things, positive things. So yay for you. I think that's the first time that's happened. And isn't it a wonderful feeling?
Yes,
Should be a
absolutely.
lot more of it for you, Dr. Tiffanie. I see it. I'm wiggling my fingers for you. Worthy for applause for sure. Very, very happy for you. I am grateful that I found some fashionable Ted hose to wear. Is it called Ted hose?
Yes, yes, to keep your legs, the blood
Yeah.
flow going. Yes, the TED hose.
And it just dawned on me, is that where TEDx talks come from?
No. But good theory.
Yeah, I mean, it just hit me because I always call them TED. I think it's a psychological, I don't like them because they're ugly and I don't like wearing them. And now I don't have a choice. So my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith said, I said, they're so ugly. And he goes, but they're useful. I go, yeah, you really are, big brother. Thank you so much. Anyways, I am grateful for fashionable tent hose that I found at the Modern Day Wife event. And I have to tell you this little story. I don't let her talk to me during the week because I want to keep it fresh on the show. So I'll tell you the little story now because this is a what caught moment. So they found the blood clot on Wednesday when we were on the air. It was a week ago. And I was doing the show from the ultrasound place in the hallway, which was crazy. And Dr. Tiffanie, I think that was by design because of all the people, of all my co-hosts, she's the medical doctor. And so she can calm me down, right? Medically, and then what was funny at the end of the show, when that woman came and said, you're fine, right? And then I said, I'm free to go. Did you hear that part? Am I free to go? Yeah. Yes. And she goes, yes. And then her boss comes in after, oh, wrong person. You need to come with me to my office. And then sat me down and says, your doctor and the radiologist want you to go to emergency right now. 2 large clots, one behind my knee where the one in 1996 started, and then one from, I don't know if I told you this yet, the second one goes from my groin to the top of my knee.
No.
Yes. So the fact that I'm not dead, because they said the clot started when I went to Canada in April. So my leg's been swollen since April. And I didn't ask to get it checked out. I was at an annual physical. And then at the end of, he says, is there anything new? And I'm like, I almost didn't say anything, like this close. And then I said, well, there's some swelling, but I'm sure it's the vein damage, from the first DVT. And he goes, let's just check it out just to be sure. Sure enough, clots, grounded, no flying. I'm on, the emergency doctor said that because this is my second offense, my second infraction for life, I will be on blood thinner. Therefore, nothing that is potentially dangerous because I could bleed to death. So the topic is disappointment today, and that's why I was teasing her in the green room. do you pick your topics for you or for me? Because the topic is disappointment. And I'll tell you, the biggest disappointment is that I won't be able to race sailboats competitively. And that hurts my heart so badly at 34 years of racing I've had. So this is a very, and then last Thursday's show, Friday, my co-host James Hawthorne picked the topic adventure.
Well,
and I was like, are you kidding me? Because I feel like no more adventure in my life. But again, and I promise I'll shut up after this, another what caught story. So what are the chances of this? To finish the blood clot story, I went to that modern day wife, and the first display that I went to was a woman whose clothes are loungewear. And guess what's inside the clothes? Compression in the arms and in the legs.
see, that's perfect. That helps you be super sexy. And
What are the chances that the first display that I go to is compression? And I looked at her, Annika, she's coming on the show. It's Lost Loungewear. And I said to her, are you freaking kidding me? 2 days ago, I got diagnosed with blood clots and you have compression wear? Hello, right? And then the other thing is when I was talking about adventure on the Friday, I was crying. I was upset, but it's good because you feel your feelings fully. And then you can say, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. Well, this woman who was in charge of Africa, who's never heard my show, and she's trying to get she wasn't happy to hear what happened, not just because it's bad for me, but she's she likes to keep things the whole group in Africa together kind of thing, and me not being able to go, and I had a roommate, blah blah blah. So I knew I was not going to have a happy person when I told her what had happened, but she's never listened to the show. For some reason, she clicked something. So Friday morning, she listened to me cry on the air live, talking about what had happened. So she was much more, felt for me. What are the chances of that?
Yes.
What hot moment? What are the chances? So my girlfriend goes, only you, Dr. Marissa. That's not my new nickname. Only you.
Well, that's a good thing because it humanizes you and it allows you to process everything because it helps you deal with the disappointment. And oddly enough, a lot of people are dealing with disappointment when we deal with the issue. But one of the things, my last thing that I'm grateful for is that I had the opportunity to go to my hometown, Compton, and watch both Nathaniel and Mia perform at the graduation and college recognition ceremony because, as we know, Nathaniel is still at Rutgers getting his PhD. And so he was honored and recognized, but Mia's sung and Nathaniel played his saxophone. And one of his professors from Azusa Pacific was the keynote speaker. And it was a beautiful thing to watch them perform the Nathaniel and Friends band. As you know, they have their music, iHeart, I guess available on Apple. And so I was thankful to watch them as a mom continue to blossom, and it just made me very grateful to see them perform again together.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. Please give them my love. And I'm always trying to get together to play games with them. So yeah, we'll have to see. Now that I'm grounded, no more world tour. For the time being anyway. So yeah, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? What is something that you can, say, I'm really good at this. I'm not good at everything, but this I'm good at, or because I want you to weight train so that you're not looking to other people for approval. So a lot of people are walking around with even antenna. Who likes me literally on social media? How many likes do I have? Which is a horrible way to live. I want you to know how loving, lovable, and loved you are, and know what you're good at, and know that you're not, perfect, but you're good at a lot of things. So that's why we do the bottom of the bun. Dr. Tiffanie, what do you like about yourself?
I like the fact that I am able to look back on where I came from and reflect that, because as a child from Compton and having my upbringing with my difficult parents who struggle with addiction, and seeing that I am a published researcher, I support science. I did my research with Stephen Gabby, and I don't know if you know who that is. He wrote the book on normal and problem obstetrics that everyone studies from. And I did that research at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. And I also did research in medical school on cyanostilbenes in search for a cure for breast cancer. And so when I look at what I've done, in addition to writing books now, I can see that I have accomplished some things, and I can be thankful for that as I try to promote health in other people, just in a different way. Because someone asked me, why did I become a doctor, and what was my favorite part of becoming a doctor? And it was delivering babies, because there's nothing better than bringing life into the world.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I like that hmm, that I bounce back pretty easily. Not easily. I have a discipline of bouncing back, because I just don't want to stay in feeling bad, feeling sad, feeling mad, feeling, resentful. That it doesn't sit well with me, and for that I'm grateful. I appreciate that part of me that is, without going to the extreme of like a spiritual bypass. And I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, which y'all know stands for effed up, irrational, neurotic, and emotional. Not that kind of fine, but I do have the ability to, feel fully and then ask. I can't. What now, brown cow? You didn't want me to do that. What's next?
I like the fact that people often come to me for their needs. And when they come to me, they know that they can depend on me. I have one of my sorority sisters. Her husband passed away, and she asked me to drive to Los Angeles to pick up her family members. And I said, okay, because she knows that she can call on me to do something like that. A lot of people would have been like, what? I'm not driving to LAX. But I didn't have a problem doing that, because I believe that love is an action. It's not just a word. And when you say you're going to do something, you have to be willing to do it, and you have to be willing to give of your time. And I believe when you say you're going to be there for someone, you actually do it, and you're willing to sacrifice your time and your effort. And I like that about myself.
Awesome. Let's do one more. I appreciate my ability to plan, design, organize. My mother's celebration of life service is Saturday. I'm now here. Most of it is done. I'm going to still try to pull that video thing together, but I have, what day is it today? I have 2 days but the program's done, all of that. So I appreciate my ability, even with 2 blood clots and moving everything that I had accumulated after 8 years, is now still wrapped in bubble wrap. But when I get back, I will definitely get to do that. But I appreciate my ability to multitask. Hospital, new home, old home, plane, brother's place, broadcast, you name it, I'm gonna do it.
Good.
One last appreciation. I know you're in the same boat.
Oh, you know it. I like the fact that I'm optimistic. And I was actually talking to someone about this. I said, no matter what, my cup is always full. I don't care if things are not going well. If there's always tomorrow, things can always get better. And I'm always going to look at things that way. I'm not completely Pollyanna, but I'm always going to wear a smile. I'm not going to let the world take away my joy. I'm always going to persevere. I'm always going to give 200% because I think that you always have to keep trying and you can't let people be negative towards you and you absorb that negativity. You have to reflect the positivity. I think Steve Harvey said, if you wear a smile, most people will reflectively give that smile back. And if you extend your hand, most people will shake your hand. Not everybody, but most. So if you extend positivity into the world, everybody's not going to give it back, but most people will. And I think that's what we have to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I'm just putting a story up to encourage people to come now. And that's it for breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5 on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And now for the topic of the day. And I did not bring my bell because I want to scare people carrying my luggage. Really?
Hey, you!
Oh, the topic is
Hey! Hey, you!
Dealing with disappointment. I think
I feel like that should have like a drum roll.
Yes. And Dr. Marissa posted deal or no deal.
Did you like that?
I did. And oddly enough, when I thought about that, I wasn't thinking about you per se, but it does apply to you as well.
Oh my goodness gracious. In such a major way. I have not had this kind of adjustment since my divorce. Like that's how big this is, right?
Yes.
So
I think it applies to so many people in the world right now because there's so much going on. But I picked this topic just because I've had some people who would make pledges and then renege. So I've been disappointed in my life, in my political life already. And or I've learned that a lot of people tell untruths. I'm like, go figure in politics.
yeah.
And so, right. And so just dealing with disappointment. But then you deal with disappointment in relationships, within families. Sometimes there's a lot of jealousy, even amongst your friends. And I'm just like, wow. But I think that you just have to break it down. I'm always like, smack it, flip it up, rub it down. Let's just break down this disappointment and see what it is, how we can address it, because there's so much going on in the world, whether you look at what's going on with the political landscape, what's going on with legal cases, what's going on in our lives, what's going on within our jobs, what's going on in Dr. Marissa's life, what's going on in my life, what's going on in your life. Disappointment is around us every day. So I figured let's just look at disappointment in and of itself, see how it applies to us, and see how we can deal with it and see how we can overcome it.
Sounds like a plan. That is the topic for today. And I'm encouraging you. I see eyeballs starting to roll in. And if you are driving, please do not chat in the comment section. I am broadcasting live right now on my YouTube TV channel, which is my show central. Give me a free subscribe. Give me the finger, this one, not the other one. And also, you'll get access to all 1,423 podcast shows, but who's counting over the last 687 consecutive weeks. And I am broadcasting live from Canada, and Dr. Tiffanie Tate is the fabulous co-host of Doctors in the House. We're talking about disappointment. So if you have any questions, comments, please do put them in the chat. So we know why you picked disappointment. You got disappointed. I'm disappointed because of the Blood Clots Killing My World tour that I was so excited about. And people around, other things that people are disappointed about, the election results, the cost of living going up, the crazy things they hear every day that's going on in our country.
The bill that just passed.
The bill that just passed. The
Diddy results.
What?
Said the P. Diddy results.
The P. Diddy results. Okay. So Dr. Tiffanie is also my, I don't watch the news on purpose. Y'all know that, because I don't want to be bummed out and depressed and say, what's wrong with people? So when things get to a heightened level where it's actually something, then she tells me. Even though I don't want her to, she will tell me. So what's going on with P. Diddy?
He was found not guilty of the racketeering. Well, out of most of the counts, he was found not guilty, and so he was only found guilty of the prostitution, which means he could actually walk out of court depending on what the judge says. So yeah, there's a little bit of distension, especially by women who have suffered from abuse. So there's a lot of disappointment there as well.
All righty then. That was, I didn't know that. I was.
That just came out this morning.
Oh, okay. So I'm in Canada and I'm really away from the news then. Yeah. So in cases like this is what I do. I know that I could choose to now talk about this on the air for the next 20 minutes and what happened, what's wrong with people. But since it is something that I cannot control, that's my rule, is that I'm not going to spend time talking, especially on the show. But I'm asking you to think about whatever you're talking about. If you have some control, then go ahead and talk about it and look for a solution. But something like that, where I can spend the next 2 hours realistically talking about the right, the wrong, the criticism, the expert, and is it going to make a difference? No. Is it upsetting? Sure. Like you said, for the women who are going to suffer because of this. But we don't know everything, and we're also responding to things that are biased because we don't know exactly what the twist is on that. So in cases like that, if P. Diddy wants to come on here, or the lawyer wants to come on here, or, I want it straight from the source, I wouldn't have P. Diddy on here. Don't worry about that. But, if Gloria Allred, I don't know who's representing her. Gloria Allred was on my show. Did I tell you that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Gloria Allred was on in my first year, and I had got a lot of flack from a section of the population that doesn't like her, and it was a great interview only because I wanted to find out why she was the way she was. And she rarely talks about this, but did you know she was also raped? And she also had to go to a foreign country because she couldn't tell anybody, to get an illegal, and almost died. So that totally humanized her in my eyes. She may be a little, extreme in some of the things that she does and says, but man, of course she cares.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When you deal with disappointment is essentially a mismatch between what you expect and what actually happens. And then you have this dissatisfaction that stems from your unmet hopes or expectations. And when when you end up with that, you have these hurt feelings and you really don't know how to deal with those things. And you go through that stigma and you're not really sure, because sometimes you have this disappointment and sometimes there's anger, but there's really a difference between the disappointment and the anger, because they don't necessarily go hand in hand.
That's interesting. I like that breakdown. It's like a step-by-step process kind of thing. So let's put it to the test. Let's do one example before we break. So let's do, you want to do you or me?
Let's go with you first.
All right. Good answer. So say what you said again before. So disappointment is having something happen that was different than your expectations, correct?
Yes.
So my expectation was that I would, after the funeral of my mom, after the celebration of life service, begin a 6-month world tour, Canada, July, August, Africa, Hawaii, September, Ireland, October, Shanghai, November, and Taiwan, December. And all the ticket, everything was, I would say 88% of it, the talks that I would give, all of this stuff, book signing, blah, 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 airline tickets, everything. Okay. So that's what I was hoping for and expecting a week ago Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold everything to move. I didn't need a place here because I'd be gone. Right.
Right.
So then what's the next part? That's my expectation. And then things don't
go your way.
So 2 blood clots, grounded, had to change date to Canada to make sure the medication was strong enough to dissolve the clots. Didn't find out until literally yesterday morning if I could go or not. I always have to have trip insurance now. And can't go to Africa for sure. And possibly, well, if you ask my daughters, I ain't going anywhere from now on, because I could have died in the last 2 months because I had clot. So an entire 6 months of excitement and expectation and celebration for a world tour is now not going to happen as I was hoping or expecting. So then what?
So now you have so you have the nature of the incident and you have your expression. What about the duration or impact?
So the duration is for the rest of my forking life. And this is the hard one because I don't like taking medication to start with. And because this is my second infraction of blood clots, I had one in 1996, I will have to be on blood thinner for the rest of my life. So that's the impact. What else was there? So I cannot do anything that is potentially dangerous. So how's that defined? Falling, head trauma, I go immediately to the hospital, no stopping to talk to doctors because I could bleed to death because of the blood thinner. So sailboat racing, which y'all know I love, is off the table. So that one hurts. And I'm going to cry. But it's okay because I've been crying a lot. But that's good because I'm releasing.
No.
Hey, you!
I did that by accident. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So anything else? That's the impact duration.
Okay. So would you say that that's more anger or disappointment? Because the way they describe anger is more of an immediate reaction to a perceived wrong or injustice and is more outward, whereas the disappointment is more of an unmet expectation and it's a sense of loss or letdown, and it's more outward but inward.
Got it.
It's more internalized.
Correct. 88% disappointment, 12% anger. So there was a brief moment where I got angry at my UPS man, my universal power source, who delivers beautiful things almost always, everything that has ever been delivered has been great, in the sense that even though it doesn't feel great when you lose a $200,000 consulting job, when it leads to a #1 best-selling book and national best-selling book, that, then you go, oh, that's why that happened. I don't know why this happened yet. And for a minute, I was mad and said, I don't understand all the signs where this was a go. How could this happen? Why did this happen? This isn't fair. Like, what the fork? I was mad. But then I quickly went to, okay, I know better than to question, because I can't wait to see what good comes out of this, right? A year knows what a day doesn't. It's always this or better, but God, literally, how are you going to beat this? Like, I can't imagine. And I gave up my beach home for 8 years with a beautiful view. How are you going to beat that? Because in the hospital bed, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, fork. I don't even have a place to live now that I'm grounded, right? So yeah, 88% disappointment, 12% anger.
I completely get that. Now, me, on the other hand, the way they look at the races, every quarter you have to raise a certain amount of money. And my campaign manager we went through, and you do what's called dialing for dollars. And I go through my phone, what's called Rolodexing, and I call up my friends and family, and I'm going, alphabetically down the thing, and people make pledges. And so, I had my goal that I wanted to have at the end of the first quarter by June 30th, which ended June 30th. And then people started, reneging on their pledges. They were like, oh, da-da-da. And I'm like, dude. And one person was like, well, you live in California. California has lots of money. And I'm like, that's not how that works. So I think I was more 88% anger.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I get it. And it's a good contrast
Yes.
for people to understand.
Yes. But it was fleeting, because I was just like, the audacity. I'm like, I would rather you have just told me no, so I could just continue to move on, so I can meet my goal, as opposed to wasting my time. Because that negatively affected me. But now I just have to work harder the next quarter to get more support and raise even more money. But like I said, I felt reaffirmed that my information made it all the way to the East Coast. So again, I just had to have a woosah moment. I prayed and woosah. But it was a fleeting moment of anger, and then it went from anger to disappointment, because I just felt that person really let me down. And, just shake the dust off your feet and keep pressing on. But I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
I think I was angry for about an hour.
And
And
there's nothing wrong with that. Like, before we go on break, I think I can speak for Dr. Tiffanie as well. It's not that disappointment's good and anger's bad, or vice versa. I think it's so important that you acknowledge that's what we're doing. We're living out loud here, and admitting we're human. And when things don't go the way you want, it's okay to say, I'm pissed off. Like,
emotions are good, people. Get it out.
Correct. Because if you're not honest about your emotions, it's going to sit in there and get infected. And that is not pretty. So, you want to feel it. This is helpful to understand and be very cognizant. Am I angry or am I disappointed? If I'm angry, be angry fully. Don't do anything to anybody. But, my solution when I'm angry is I'll jump up and down, stomp my feet, bite my pillow, do a silent scream because I need my voice. But I'm angry. And then the negative volume energy is out. And then I can take a breath and then be inspired again. So let's just it's good that you know that you're angry. It's good that you know that you're disappointed. But let's take a quick break for news, weather, traffic, and a word from our sponsor here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and our very special Wednesday series. That is in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
We'll be back in 2 and 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Whoops.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I am running for California's 41st seat for the United States House of Representatives. That's right, I am running against Ken Calvert, and you want me to represent you because I support healthcare. I support veterans' rights. I support rights for the undocumented. I support rights for everyone, the LGBTQ T plus community, and I will represent you. So visit my website, support me so I can help you. Visit Dr. Tate for Congress. That's DrTateForCongress.com. That is Dr. Tate for Congress. Support me so I can support you. After they pass that big, ugly bill, you want me to go to Congress and advocate for you. Visit DrTateForCongress.com. Help me help you. Paid for by DrTateForCongress.com.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert every weekday morning to tune into a show about hope and happiness. You can also give me the finger, this one, not the other one. And you'll get shows like this one, which is my fabulous Wednesday series called Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And we're talking about the topic of...
We are talking about if you want to deal or no deal when dealing with disappointment.
Absolutely. So I'm sure you've done more research.
Yes, because when you're dealing with disappointment, you want to understand how to break it down and understand the source of the behavior. Because when you're dealing with it, you want to try to not take things personal. And like when I said I was upset when people failed to follow through with their pledges, I think it's important to not take things personal. Like, I didn't let it ruin my day. And when I was giving my gratitudes, I said, my cup is always full. I wasn't going to let anything stop my joy. I think it's important to not let that stop your joy because there's always tomorrow. There's always another pledge. There's always another person. And I think that that's important for you to do as well. No matter what you're going through, there's always a tomorrow. And there's nothing that's permanent in DC, like even with the bills, no matter how they say stuff is permanent, nothing is ever permanent. There's new legislatures, laws always change. Don't lose your hope. Don't lose your faith. don't give up. And that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. My formula in dealing with disappointment is knowing that at the very fundamental core, and this I think is the foundation of a happy life, is knowing that everything happens for my divine and best good. Now, if you are an atheist or an agnostic and you believe that the world is random and chaotic and, shift happens randomly and you don't have a BS, a belief system in something outside of yourself that is actually positive, not punishing, not angry, then you're going to have a tougher time. With disappointment, mine lasts a very short time because I choose to believe that it's always this or better. So the tour was incredible, and I was excited, but because the tour is now dead in the water for now, there is something better. I don't know what it is. I can't see it, right? But I didn't see the tour coming either. That kind of was, dropped in my lap. The book was dropped in my lap. The show was dropped in my lap, not planned for, because I know that the universe is always conspiring for me, never against me. I'm not being punished with blood clots. I don't know why, my body has a predisposition to generate blood clots. It likes to do everything. So I don't know why, but my job is to say and believe and continue to say it's always this and better. Because what happens is when I do that, it allows for things that are good to continue to happen because I see it, right? If I'm pissed off and feeling sorry for myself, I can't see the next beautiful miracle, indicated action, whatever. So that, I'll give you an example after you go reflect or share, and I'll give you a specific example of that.
All right. And it's interesting that you said that because I found that there were 5 ways to bounce back from a setback. And you actually mentioned one. One is to be kind to yourself. It's good to address the disappointments, but we really have to show self-compassion. And I think a lot of times we show compassion to everyone else, but we're hardest on ourselves. And we really have to be a little bit more compassionate towards ourselves. And we have to take care of our mind, our body, and our spirit. That's number one. We also want to surround ourselves with good people. We want to surround ourselves with supportive people and understanding people, not critical people. Because if they're critical of you, you're likely to absorb that negativity and absorb that spirit. That's no bueno, not very helpful. Not good at all.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
That's why I have my co-hosts. I mean, one of the first people I told about all of this, I have a group chat with my co-hosts, and all 3 of them are so supportive. And so, what can I do? I'm so sorry. No, you should do this and you should do that. And well, what did you expect? And blah, blah, blah. I'm grateful for my co-hosts.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Ernestine. She's one of my sorority sisters who is also very supportive and very positive, and we pray together weekly. So I'm really thankful for her. And you also want to, number 3, get your feel good flowing, because I don't know what your feel good is. For me, it is dancing and singing gospel music. So I love that. Get your feel good flowing. I know, Dr. Marissa, you love to do Tai Chi, and that may be something that helps get your feel good flowing, right? So get your feel good flowing. And also take it as a learning experience. So use it as a lesson. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So it's okay. I learned that I don't necessarily want to go to that person again because they're not very helpful for me, and they're not very encouraging for my spirit. So keep moving forward and stay positive, whatever's going to uplift your spirit, and get back in the game. Um, don't just stop. Like Dr. Marissa, she is resilient. She's going to persevere. And who knows, another book may come out of this. So it's a lot of times not necessarily what's happening, but it's how you look at it, how you persevere, and what you want to do with your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Good, great suggestions. And I had all of those to help me bounce back for sure. It's kind of still new. It's been a week, and I have my mom's funeral service on Saturday to focus now on making sure it goes well. So, but it's a process. It's not a light switch. I'm not like, oh yay, blood clots. That's definitely not helpful, I don't think. But staying in that place of, I know that there's a good reason for this. I'm not being punished. The thing about being kind to yourself, never ever think that bad things happen to you because you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you don't deserve it, you're being punished. Even that word lesson sometimes triggers me, because some people say, well, I have to get a smack in the head to learn something. And it's like, no, you don't have to have a smack in the head. This is just something that happened that is indicating that the directions you were going was not going to be good for you. You never know why. Why is not a spiritual question. How is not a spiritual question. What is my desire to have a happy, fulfilling, exciting life? That's my desire. And I know that the universe has something else in store to match that. So that, not taking it personally is definitely important.
Absolutely. And we always look at the world and we are like, okay, why is this happening to me? But I always say there's a plan and there's a purpose for the plan. And I look at my life and I reflect on my life, because by all means, I should still be a surgeon. I should still be a practicing surgeon. But for the accident that took me down this road, but had not that accident happened that took me down this road, I would not be the author who is now on your podcast, who is now running for Congress in the 41st district. So I always yell, plot twist. And so,
Absolutely.
right. So here I am. And as you sit here beside me with your plan, you're just another plot twist. And we do get disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I was very disappointed when I had to stop practicing medicine, because
Yeah.
I worked hard. There were many sleepless nights. I had worked 30-hour days, sometimes 40-hour days, because that's what you do when you take call. And babies come at all hours of the night, and surgeries happen at all hours of the night. So I worked really, really hard to get where I was. And so I think about all the sacrifices that I made, but I feel like God had a different plan for me.
Mhm.
And this is the current plan that God has for me, as was confirmed by the woman who I feel validated me, who was in Virginia. So,
Yeah,
um,
for sure. And
mhm,
and my example of it's always this or better. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed, just being told by the emergency doctor that the two blood clots are serious enough that I can't fly. And don't even know for sure if I'm going to make my mother's funeral. On top of that, I can't go on the next leg of the world tour to Africa. That's definitely out of the question. And it dawned on me that I don't have a place to live because I had given up I'm like, what? So I took that breath and I said, okay, it's always this and better. And this is going to be a tough one, UPS man, to deliver, because I lived in a beautiful ocean view place for 8 years. and I'd given it up. And I went to my phone and I went to Airbnb, and I already knew, because I had been looking for, shorter term, that there was nothing on Airbnb. And like, I caught an ad on the bottom left, and I don't even remember the app name. I went there, and I was tired of Long Beach. I was so mad about the whole situation. I didn't even look at Long Beach first. And then I finally, looked at the prices in Santa Monica and so forth, and went back and I said, I wonder if Long Beach. And I scrolled, and the third or fifth one said, you're not going to get a beach. You're not going to get any closer to the beach than this. That was the title of the place. And next thing you know, I have a new place to come home to. I moved in, my furniture. I have a better view of the ocean than I did. Better hot water with pressure, working elevators, nice people. So there you go. It's always this or better. So, and paying $700 a month less.
Oh, see, that's a blessing.
And that's the way my life works. It's a what caught moment. What are the chances of that? In my life, Dr. Tiffany calls my middle name Only You, Marissa. Only You, Dr. Marissa. So that's my new nickname. The chances are pretty good. What's your final word, Dr. Tiffany?
My final word is I'm going to end with a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. And it says, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope.
Ooh.
Yes.
Say that one again.
We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. And I think that resonates, because we're always going to have some disappointment in life, but hope is infinite. And as long as there's a tomorrow, hope is infinite and it's everlasting. And we can always remain optimistic. And it's so important.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I want to say a quick shout out. This is a past guest, Michael Luongo. He taught at UCLA with me last fall. And I'm glad that you were able to catch some of the conversation. So you have an update. If you ask me, so what's going on? You get it firsthand now. Not exactly the best news, but certainly the hope portion. Thank you so much, Dr. Tiffany, for, as usual, great topic, great research done, knowing that both of us have infinitely more hope than disappointment. Mm-hmm. All right, it's all about balance. You know the drill. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best. Oh, go ahead. You do it.
The best day ever.
We'll see you tomorrow, every weekday morning at 9. Tune in tomorrow live. Thanks for joining us.